Hi friends, welcome to the Inspired Knitting Podcast. I'm your host Bobby and I am coming to you from southeastern New Brunswick, Canada. Today is Friday, January the 3rd, 2025. Welcome. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, I can't believe it's 2025 already. It's 2024, just flew by. It was a relatively good year. It was a good year. Can't say that it wasn't. It was a very blessed one. So yeah, welcome. I'm a little bit rusty. Do forgive me. I am still on my first coffee of the day. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. So please forgive me. But yeah, anyways, welcome. This is my podcast about my knitting and crocheting, and I do spin. I just haven't done it a lot. So yeah, that's what this crazy house is all about. So grab a cup of coffee. I have, as I said, my first cup today. I am drinking it in this cute doggy mug that I got for Christmas. I just love it. It's so cute. I have a lot of cat mugs, so if you're new to the podcast, I am a crazy cat lady. I love my kitty cats. I have two cats. I have a orange cat. Her name is Rami. We nickname her the Flurkin because she's sweet but can be quite vicious sometimes if she wants to be. And then I have a gray tabby who we call Sassy. I named her after one of my favorite childhood movies, Homeward Bound. There was a Himalayan cat and her name was Sassy. So I always wanted a Himalayan cat named Sassy. Well, I never got my Himalayan cat, but when I got Sassy, I wanted to name her that, and y'all, she has lived up to that name. She is a sassy little girl. She beats up my Flurkin. It's quite hilarious, but I love them. But all that to say, I have a lot of mugs with cats on them, so I had to get a doggy mug because now I have a dog, Blue, who is doing really well. I gave her a bone, so hopefully we can get through the podcast quietly. So yeah, and Blue's doing quite well, to all those who wonder. She's 8 months old now. Yep. And this is her first snow, her first winter, and she actually loves the snow. She loves to eat the snow. She loves to eat everything, but she really loves to eat the snow, so I'm actually really excited about that, that she loves like the snow. So yeah, super chatty. Sorry about that, guys. How about we get on to what y'all are here for, the knitting. So you can find me on the internet as Inspired Knitting Podcast on Instagram, where I am most active. And you can also find me on Ravelry as xcountrygirl1986x. And all the detailed show notes are in the description box below. There's like a little down arrow that you can click and it will drop down, and I give you links directly to any patterns and makers that I talk about. So yes, I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. So good. Okay, so I have some finished objects and works in progress to share with you today. So I don't even know really where to start because it's actually been a while since I podcasted. All's good. It's just life. It's just life. It's all good. It's just life happens. So I do have a little bit to share with you today. The first one, I'm just picking randomly from a pile, is a crocheted hat that I did. I'm just crocheting these up. I would like to find like a local charity that I can donate to, be it the hospital, the Salvation Army, what have you. So I'm just grabbing, I have a lot of acrylic stash So I just randomly grab from that stash whenever I feel like doing something different, and I just crochet up a hat. So ooh, this one here, this is the Easy Breezy Ribbed Beanie by the Turtle Trunk, and it is crocheted, so it does come in sizes, I believe, from baby up to adult large. So pretty much all it is you cast on for the number of stitches for the size that you're doing, and all you're doing is, I think this one's half double crochet in the back loop, and you just keep doing that for however long it says for you to go, and then you fold it and then you just seam it. So for me, I do the mattress stitch usually, but on this hat here, I decided to do, right on this seam here, I decided to fold the hat inside out, correct? I think that's how I did it. Fold the hat inside out and do the single crochet up the seam of the hat, and then I just did the top, like seamed the top in. So it actually doesn't look too bad. I don't know. You can see it. But maybe on a more solid yarn it would look a little bit better. I just didn't feel like seaming doing the mattress stitch that day, so I thought, what if I try it this way? And it's actually not too bad, so we'll see. But if I do that again. But this one here, this yarn, I believe it's a Burnett yarn, and I'm pretty sure it's an older one. It's from Zellers. It had like $1.99 on the ball. What? $1.99? But yeah, so it's some pretty old stash. I picked up a D-stash from a lady, and yeah, a lot of them were like from Zellers and that, and I'm like, oh, vintage yarn. But it's good yarn, so I'm just working through some of that stuff to make up these hats because it's perfect. So there's that one. And then, of course, I got socks to share. So, I believe I had casted these on, I'm pretty sure it was around December, like the beginning of December. I wanted to do like Christmas themed socks. So I made this pair, and I absolutely love them. So there's nothing special about them. It's just plain vanilla socks, 2x2 ribbing. I think I do about 20 rows for the cuff, slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, just my normal. The yarn, and I did write some show notes, and I didn't think about to write this down. This yarn is Timber Yarns, and it was actually a gnome kit. I might put it across the screen here so you could check it out because I forgot to write it down. But it is actually a gnome kit that Timber Yarns had put together for one of Sarah Shara's Imagine Landscape for one of her gnomes. And I had bought the kit with intentions to make the gnome, and then I ended up caking the yarn up, and it was, like I said, starting of December, and I was like, that kind of reminds me of Christmas. I really want to make socks with it. So my gnome became a pair of socks. So as I said, hopefully I will have put the name of the yarn across the screen here, but I believe the colorway was called Kindness Matters Cake Boss, and I think the kit was Someone to Write Gnome About, I believe. It is on my Ravelry as well, but it did come with the brown, I believe. I can't quite remember, pretty sure. And then your main color. So I think it would have made a really adorable gnome, but I really, really love the socks. So there is my socks. I love them. So yeah. I believe the kit, it came with like the main color, the self-striping, because the gnome Imagine Landscape has 2 newer gnomes that use like self-striping yarn. So that was the main yarn, and then like I said, I think the brown was part of the kit as well, and there was a white. So I just have the white sitting aside. I will probably keep that for future gnomes to do their beards or socks, what have you, but yeah. So there is that pair. And my most recent pair, I actually just finished yesterday. So I have always done a pair of Christmas Eve cast-on socks. Danny of Little Bobbins podcast, she always, I think she was the one that started it. I can't quite remember. But that's who I had learned it from. So I have been doing it for quite a while. And it was actually kind of funny because Christmas came upon us, and I went on Instagram and I saw Nancy of Knits Up Happy. Hi, Nancy. She had posted her Christmas Eve cast on, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot all about that. So I was in a panic. So Carlie, she was over for Christmas, and she's like, can I go pick out the yarn? And I'm like, yes, you can. So she came in and she went through my stash, and I am so happy that she did, because she picked out a beautiful combo. So here's the socks, and again, it's just a plain pair of vanilla socks. The yarn is most treasured, and the cool thing is it was already caked up, so didn't have to do nothing. This one here, there we go. This one here was the Northern Pearl. Eloise was the color. And then the self-striping is also the Northern Pearl. This was one of Angel's self-striping. For yarn store days, she would do a couple self-striping yarns, and this is one of them. I had knit a pair of Journey socks when I first got the yarn, so I still had like a lot left over, and I put it in my cubby, and I've been kind of hoarding Angel's yarn because she doesn't really dye anymore, and it's so sad. But I was like, when she brought it out to me, I was like, that is so amazing that you did, because I've been wanting to knit these up to see how they knit up, because they are so beautiful. So I'm really happy she did, because I have a beautiful pair of socks. There is 2. Sorry, I'm only showing 1. So they turned out really well. I decided just to do the cuff and the heel flap in the contrast and just do the toes. And I'm actually happy how well the stripes end up aligning. I love it when it does that. So nice. So I'm super happy that these are now knit up and they can be loved and worn. And I actually still have leftovers. I have quite a bit of this left, and I still have some of this left over as well. So the scraps of this will probably go in a blanket. This, there's enough of it probably for more cuffs and heels and something. So that's pretty cool too. But these are my Christmas Eve cast on socks. It was so much fun to have somebody else pull the yarn, because I probably wouldn't have put these 2 together, and I think they look amazing. So that was a lot of fun. So I might get Carlie to do that again for me, because sometimes we get into our stash and we I overthink all the time, and I think it's really cool to let somebody else just get in there and pick something out, and it turned out so beautiful. So I love them. So those are my Christmas Eve cast on socks. And I'm going to grab another sip of coffee because it is starting to get cold. Okay. So I do have one more pair of socks that I finished. not sure where I put them. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I was sitting on top of it. I rolled over it. Okay, so my next pair of finished socks, I think I actually did these back in November. I did a pair of, and I actually did write this down. This is the Sweater Weather Sock Collection by Carlie Perrins. She is Northwoods Knit Co. I will have it listed below. It is a collection of four pairs of socks. There's 4 different patterns, and they're all cables, and oh my god, guys, they are amazing. So I hope my light isn't going to blow these out too much, but it is just a very beautiful cabled ribbed pattern. And it goes all the way around, and then it continues down the foot. It's just very, very beautiful. I absolutely love it. 2x2 rib, slip stitch, heel flap and gusset, and it is DK, as I said. So there is actually a fingering weight version as well. If you go onto her Ravelry page, so you can purchase the cuff down version, or you can purchase the toe up version. And like I said, you do have to look, because there is a fingering weight version and a DK weight version. So yeah, I did these ones. The yarn is Estelle Yarns in the Scuba colorway. Very beautiful. I think this is one of my favorite colors. Now, I actually knit these up for market, and I'm having a hard time, guys, because I really want these socks for myself. They are so nice. The Estelle is actually listed as a worsted yarn, but I got gauge, so I went with it, and I think it's perfect. And I have some more Estelle yarns that I'm going to probably do the same with. Estelle Yarns is it's an acrylic wool mix. I believe it's a 60-40, something like that. But it's still a very nice yarn. So there is my Sweater Weather socks. I believe, I can't remember, because that's the name of the collection. I believe this one was called Harvest, because there is 4 patterns in it. I think this one is called Harvest. Can't remember in the pattern. But they're all beautiful. They're all cables, and I want to do them all because I love my cables. They are just so amazing. And when you work the DK version, they just knit up so fast. I love them. Okay, so I'm just going to refer to my notes quickly just to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything here. No, okay. So next I'm going to go on into works in progress, and I actually have quite a few to share with you. So first of all, I think I'll start with these ones. Just because they are Christmas themed. I was hoping to have these done for Christmas. Did not happen at all, and that's fine. Managed to finish my Christmas Eve cast on socks, but I couldn't finish these. But that's okay, because you gotta knit what makes you happy. So I have recently been, oh, okay, hang on. So before I get trucking along here, I just found the tag for the socks. Timber Yarns, someone to write gnome about, and it is in the Kindness Matters Cake Boss. So that is the yarn. It comes with a 50-gram skein of self-striping, 50-gram skein as semi-tonal, and a 20-gram skein of natural. So, as I said, I'm pretty sure the brown was part of the kit. Can't remember, but that is the kit's name. That's the tag. There you go. Okay, so I have been quite obsessed this past year with Nicole C. Mendez yarn. She does self-striping yarns, and all her colors are just phenomenal to me. I love them all, and she is from Germany, but it's amazing how fast the yarn gets shipped and arrives. So I live here in Canada, and I'm pretty sure it takes like 2 weeks, and I already have my yarn. So that is like really, really good. And the shipping price is like $8 Canadian. What? You can't even ship anything within Canada to another place in Canada for $8. So it's like really, really amazing. So I love Nicole C. Mendez yarn. So here's her tag. And one of the Christmas colorways that I picked up from her was called Christmas Cookies. So it is on her strong sock base, which is 75% virgin wool, 25% nylon, 100 grams per, 100 grams, 456 yards. And her strong sock base, I really love it. It kind of has that that feeling like Regia, but it's not quite as picky. It's a little bit softer, but it's so nice. So there's the colorway all caked up. She does have a soft sock base, and I think I did order one of those. It is a superwash nylon base, and she has 3 bases. I think her other one is a DK. I can't remember. But I typically get the strong sock because I just really love the feel of it, and they're actually pretty hard wearing, so, which is good because the person that I knit my socks for, he is actually starting to go through the heels on his socks, and so I prefer to have something a little bit more strong wearing because he wears them every day. He loves them. Okay, so here is what I have done so far. So for this one, I was just going to do a plain vanilla sock, but I decided that I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I decided to cast on the Mountain Vista socks by Emily Clawson, who is Salt City Knits, and it's just creating this really beautiful kind of chevron type look, and I thought that would look really, really nice with this yarn. So that's what I decided to do, and it's a super easy pattern. It's a 4-row repeat, and it's super easy to memorize. It's one of those that you don't really have to look at the pattern to do, and for my brain, I need something like that. And the back is just plain vanilla, so it's just, yeah, it's just on the front of the sock. So that is what I am doing. And I did get, I think I did get my gusset all decreased, so now I'm just on the foot. This one I'm just working one at a time. The reason why I think my my Christmas Eve cast on socks went so fast is I decided to cast them both on at the same time. So I do magic loop, but I don't put them both on the same needle. I just use 2 separate needles. I cast the cuff on of one, get it done, and then I cast on the cuff of another sock on a separate needle, and then I just keep going back and forth. Somehow I feel that helps me knit the socks faster. I'm not quite sure. It's probably just a mental game. I don't know. But by the time that I am done, I have a finished pair of socks. So second sock syndrome doesn't really kick in. But for this one, I just cast it on the one sock. So, I'm just going to keep going with it. I'll finish this one and then cast on the second. So it's not Christmas anymore, but it doesn't matter. This colorway just makes me so happy. It just reminds me of a vintage Christmas, and I love that. It's perfect. So got that, and then I got my little Snoopy stitch stopper. I believe I got this from Wool & Pine. Can't quite remember, but I got him on there. So that is sock whip number 1. I should be making this sock a priority. I have it on the back of my chair all the time. I always have this project bag on the back of my chair just because I don't want to be out somewhere and be stranded without my knitting, because that is like the most terrible thing in the whole wide world. It's happened before, and it has not been a good experience. Okay. So just because we're talking about socks, I will share the next pair with you. So I finished the Christmas Eve cast on socks yesterday, and I had, yesterday? No, today's 3rd. Okay, I finished them January 1st, because I wanted them done, for the new year, so I could cast on a pair of New Year's socks, like one does. So I decided that that's what I was going to do, and I did. So just grabbing the tag here. So I ended up finding a new to me yarn dyer. Her name is Jenna, and she is from Nova Scotia, Canada, and I absolutely fell in love with a couple of her colorways, so I decided to make an order, and they got here like super duper quick. Like, we're talking 2 days, and I love them. So I'm just going to share the socks with you now, and then later, probably in Stash Enhancement, I will show you the other 2 skeins that I purchased. We'll see. They're really beautiful, so I might show them now. Nova Knits is her business name, and I apologize, I'm a bit shaky. There's all her details, and I will list her below as well, just so you can get a direct link. So the colorway that I'm working with is called Purple Haze. Reminds me of Jimi Hendrix. So what's so special about this one for me, I had trouble picking out which one, and I know some of you guys don't like seeing Stash Enhancement, but these are too pretty. I'm going to show them. So I ended up picking up these 2 skeins from her. This one here, the pink one, is called Tickle Me Pink. And you guys, anything with black in it, oh my god, it's just, it touches my moody soul. And then I got Fall Harvest, and I think this one might be my next pair of socks because I want to see how that knits up. I think that would be quite interesting. Or maybe a Musselburgh. What do you guys think? Let me know in the bottom. So the reason why I was so excited about the purple one is because it is 80% superwash Falkland merino and 20% nylon, and I love Falkland. I have spun with it before and I really, really love it. So here is Purple Haze, and I probably would have picked this one anyways because I love my purples. It is so gorgeous. So for this one, it is 100 gram skein, and I'm doing 2 at a time. So what I do is I just cake it up, and then I use my scale, and then I just do 50-50. That way I have 2 separate balls to work with. And for this one, I I already have the cuff and the leg done on one sock. So I just did a 2x2 rib for about 25 rows. And then Kay, the crazy sock lady, she did this on one of her recent socks. She knitted 2 plain rows and then knit 2, purl 2 for 2 rows. So it's a 4-row repeat. And it just creates this really nice rib texture, which is a little hard to see. So I decided to do that just to give it a little interest, and I really like it. It's pretty nice. So there is sock number 1. And then I have sock 2 that far. So I knit the cuffs first, and then once I finish the leg on the first sock, now I'm knitting the leg on the second one. And then I will do the heels, and so yeah, my New Year's Eve cast on socks. I love them. And this colorway, guys, oh my gosh. That would have made an amazing muscle burra. It would have, but it didn't happen. So, just gonna, okay. So yeah, that is my Christmas Eve cast on socks, or sorry, New Year's Day cast on socks. So do check out Nova Knits. I had an amazing experience buying from her, so thank you so much, Jenna. And yeah, do check her out. I am definitely going to keep an eye on her shop and purchase more in the future, especially the Falkland. It is so amazing. It is super soft. It has an amazing drape to it. I could see knitting a shawl with that because the drape to it feels amazing. And it's got the nylon in it. So if you want to knit socks like I'm doing, it's nice. I love it. So there's that pair of socks. What shall I do next? Okay. I think I'm going to share with you my muscle burra. So I have it housed in a beautiful bag by Penny of Creek Garden Crafts. I absolutely love this bag. And then it's got this cute little button fabric inside. So cute. So I have been wanting to do a muscle burra for quite a while. I do have a fingering weight one, but I ended up knitting it just longer than what the pattern recommended. So I don't really like it that much. So I wanted to make another one. So I went to my local yarn store, which is Gobsmacked Yarn in Sackville, and I got Merritt's help and picked out some yarn. So I'm just going to share the tag with you because I'm not good with my French. This is a dyer from Quebec, and it is 100% alpaca. It is a fingering weight. And as I said, I'm not good with my French, so I am not going to ruin it. So I end up picking out, losing stitches. I end up picking out a skein of that, which is in a beautiful, beautiful blue. I have a navy blue winter jacket, and a lot of the colors that I wear are dark. So I figured blue would be a good staple to have in my wardrobe. So I decided, okay, I got the alpaca, but I want to make sure it's like really warm. So I paired it with Merritt's yarn. So Merritt is Gobsmacked. And this is on her fuzz base, so it's mohair, 64% kid mohair, 36% silk, 50 grams, 459 yards, and Those Who Are Content is the colorway. And here's the fuzz. It's so lovely. So those are my two that I have put together. And I am doing the Musselburgh by Soul Latique. And as I said, I'm losing stitches, but I am just gonna be gentle with it and share it with you guys. So I am this far. So you start at the top, you do like a pinhole cast on. I believe the pattern has a couple options for you to cast on. I don't do those because they're too finicky. I just cast on the amount of stitches that it wants me to. I do cast on like on magic loop. So I just split the stitches, join it in the round, and then I start doing my increases. And I just sew it up and it looks fine to me. And then once I get to my increases and I start working into the round, I just put it on I think this is a 14 or a 16 inch chagu, and just keep working it in the round. And I am going to do it to the length that the pattern says this time. So I'm doing the adult medium, I believe. So yeah, I still have a ways to go. It is a double thick hat, in case you're not familiar with the Musselburgh. You just keep knitting this big long tube, and then you would decrease and do the other end of it, sew it up, and then you fold the hat inside out, and you have a double thick hat. They are amazing, and they are a lot of fun to knit. They just take a little bit. So yeah, I have a boba Progress Keeper. I don't remember where I got it, but it's been a while. And then I also have a little coffee stitch marker on there as well. But yeah, that's my Musselburgh, and it feels amazing. I cannot wait to wear it. I really need to be working on this more, but it's going to be next winter by the time I have it, probably. But I'm really excited to have it. It's going to be really nice. So that is the Musselburgh by Soul Latique. And I'm just going to take another sip of coffee. Okay, so we did those. What else do we have? Okay, so I decided to cast on a pair of mittens. I've been going back and forth. I know that I wanted another pair of mittens, not just for myself, but for the household. So anybody that is going outside to like shovel, snow blow, gets kind of cold on the hands, it'd be nice to have a nice pair of mittens. So I have several pairs that I knit up, and I have one pair of Thrummed mittens that I did, and the Thrummed mittens are the favorite. Obviously, Thrummed mittens are amazing. So I decided, well, I should probably knit a second pair of Thrummed mittens, and that's what I decided to do. So the pattern, there are several that I found on Ravelry. The ones that I did before, I do still have the pattern. However, this time I am doing the Family Thrummed Mittens by Vardy, and it is actually a pattern from Briggs & Little. And Briggs & Little is a yarn, like a wool mill here in New Brunswick. And I decided to do that pattern. So the pattern goes, I believe, from, again, baby to adult large. And I am doing the adult large. So this is what I have so far. And I am following pattern. I did the amount of stitches that it called for the cuff. This is a paid for pattern, so I'm not gonna give much away, but I did do the amount of rows that it called for, and now I'm starting the thrumming, and you guys, oh my gosh, I love it. It is so amazing. I absolutely love Thrum Mittens. And then the best part is the inside. Look at that. Oh my god. It's so amazing. I love Thrum Mittens. And it's not terrible to do either. So the yarns, I actually don't have the tag for this, so I can't tell you. All I can say, it is Briggs & Little. I wanted something very woolly and warm. So it's like a plummy purple that has like some blues and even just a little bit of red in it as well. Very beautiful. So according to the pattern, I should have enough to do a pair of mittens in this. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I do, because my local Great Canadian Dollar stores where I picked this up, they don't have this color anymore. So I'm pretty sure if I went to 3 bags full in Moncton, Kathy might have it. But I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that I have enough. The pattern says that I will. So fingers crossed. And then I went through my roving stash and I paired it with Summer Sunset by Cozy Posy Yarn Co. Y'all know I love my Cozy Posy. And this one is 100% Cormo, and it is 100 grams approximately. And I absolutely love it. I think it's my first time working with Cormo as well, and it is really, really nice. So here is the roving. It's just a braid. So how I'm doing it is I just pulled the braid, started pulling the braid apart, and I just gently fluff it out, and then I just, you don't want to, if you are a spinner, you know, but if you're not, there's a staple length. So I just gently pinch up here, and I just use 2 fingers, and then I just gently start pulling like that, and then you get this little wisp. And then all I do is I just finagle it a little bit and twist it like so, and then you just put that on and knit it in. So if you haven't done Thrummed before, it can be a bit scary. I know it was for me. But the video that I watched is Very Pink Knits, and I hopefully will remember to link that video below. Stacy has a wonderful video on how to do thrumming, so I will list that video below so you can refer to it. It is not hard at all, and it's not every row that you have to do the thrumming either, so there is rest rows in between it. So it is well worth it, guys. It's well worth it. A little bit time consuming, but well worth it. So right now I have my stitch marker in place. I am doing my thumb increases. And yeah, this is mitten 1. It is, as I said, a little bit slow going, but I don't touch it every day either. I kind of have to be in a mindset for it, and I have to be in my room at my desk to work on it too, because my pup, she, like I said, she'll eat anything, and I definitely don't want her to eat the roving. So if I do a row of the thrum, what I normally do is if there's going to be 5 thrums in a row, then I will pull out that many for both sides to do the whole round. That way you're not knitting a stitch and then having to put it down to pick up. I have them all set out. So it's not something I can do in the living room around the dog because she will eat it. So it's not getting a lot of love and attention from me, but I really do hope to get them done so we can start enjoying them, because it is really, really nice, especially for me. I get super cold hands, and my friend, he has had severe frostbite in his hands before, so as soon as he starts touching anything metal, they get super cold. So Thrum mittens are amazing, amazing. So I have those on the go as well. All right, so now that we got all that out of the way, I think I only have 2 more things to share with you guys, and it is all revolving around Advent. So I hope everybody had an amazing Advent season, and even if you didn't have an Advent, I hope everybody had an amazing holiday season. We did. It was a quiet one, but that's just the way that I like it. So as pertaining to Advent, I ended up getting 2 Advent calendars this year. I ended up getting Megan Lichen of Lace. I got her Advent. So it was the 20 grams for 24 days. And then I also got Yarn Indulgences, Deborah's. It was 20 gram minis as well for 24 days, and then on day 25 you got a whole skein, and I forgot to bring the whole skein with me, but that's okay. I will share that another time. So yes, so it was really fun, super amazing. I love both Advents. I have them all in this big drum right now. Every day I was just putting them in. I was hoping to keep up with a project, which you will see soon, but I did not, which that's okay. I can still enjoy it now. So I have this drum that's sitting in the living room just so I can see all the minis. So I loved both Advents. They were amazing. I would definitely do them both again. I just love them. So I decided, I already knew what I wanted to do with one of them. So for Megan's, I decided to do the jelly roll blanket, which I guess I should just show because I am talking about it. And it's the one that has the most work on it. So I have it housed in my Bag by JoJo Cozy Up Knits. So I decided to cast on a jelly roll blanket by Kay Jones, who is part of the Bakery Bears podcast. Absolutely amazing couple. You need to go check them out. So I decided that that's the blanket that I was going to use for... The plan actually was I was going to put both Advents in it, and then I realized that Deborah's Advent, my Yarn Indulgences, I actually got the one that had cashmere in it, and I was like, oh, well, that needs to be a shawl. So my Lichen and Lace went into the jelly roll. My Yarn Indulgences is saved for a shawl. Okay, so just prior, and I don't think I shared this with you guys before. If I did, I'm sorry. Prior to Christmas, Advent's opening, I decided to cast the blanket on because I want it to be a fair size blanket, and I have a lot of scraps. So I casted it on, and here's my first jelly roll. So I made a modification. You are supposed to, or not supposed to, it's however you wish to do it. The jelly roll is actually a fingering weight pattern. So first modification, I am holding fingering weight double. I modified the stitch count going across. Kay, the crazy sock lady, she is doing or did a jelly roll DK, and she cast it on 16 or 18 stitches. I can't remember, but I took a screenshot. So that's what I'm doing. I'm following what she did. So I did that. The modification, the major modification for me, is that once you get your first strip done, you're supposed to come back cast on the second one and join it. So you're technically working your second strip attached to this one. You're attaching it as you go. I tried it. Kay Jones, the lady that wrote the pattern, has a video tutorial that shows how you do it. I just found it super finicky and I was having trouble with it. So I decided, and I saw a lot of other people say, like, as the blanket gets bigger, it's hard to, like, finagle it around and turn it. So I was like, okay, I don't want to get so far in this blanket and then never want to work on it because I just don't like that. So I have decided, hoping it's not a huge mistake, I don't think it will be, I'm just doing my strips singly. And then when I'm all done, or as I might start joining them now, how I'm going to join them, I'm not quite sure yet. Probably, I keep thinking that I could do a mattress stitch, or I'm actually thinking of just crocheting, like single crocheting, and have the crochet ridges at the back. I think that might actually be pretty nice. I don't know. Do like a natural color, like a cream or a white or something like that, and join them together like that. I'm not sure yet, because then I would probably border the whole blanket with the white. But I'm doing it this way because I know that if I do it this way, I will actually work on it, because I really enjoy making the strips. So I feel by doing it this way, I'm ensuring myself that I will finish it. So all that to say, I did 2 strips before Advent season started. So I have strip number 1. So these yarns, I have no idea what they are. I actually went to the wool retreat, which Nancy Knits It Happy, Mana, and Sophie of Cozy Meadow Knits, they hosted. It was in Sussex, New Brunswick. It was last February. And if you brought a little bag of minis, you could take one home. And so that's what I did. And these are the minis that came with it. So I thought I would put those in. That's a good memory. I really love this one. So I put those ones in. And this one's kind of Christmassy. I really love that. And then I just had like this little bit of purple. So yeah, I just kept knitting until I thought it was a good length. So as I'm knitting my Advent, my strips I think might be a little bit longer. So I might be taking out this here and adding just a little bit more to it. We'll see what happens. But there is my first stripe. And I just love seeing these rolled up. They look so amazing. So this one is an Advent that I put together last year for my Nomi, Angel. I had still a bag of leftovers, so I decided to put those in to a stripe. That way I could have that memory. So I got that. So I did mark down, I am doing approximately 351 garter ridges. So as I said, my Advent, as I'm knitting it, I'll roll those up later. As I'm knitting it, I'm realizing that I might have to adjust the first 2 that I made, and that's fine. So here is now the official start of my Advent. So this is Megan Lichen and Lace. So this was day 1, and I am going in order for this. So this was day 1. So it is 20 gram skeins. So what I chose to do is I wanted the whole 20 grams in here. I could have split them in half and just did 10 because I am holding it double. But I wanted the whole thing in here. I did not want leftovers, and it's a blanket, so there's day 1. There's day 2. Day 3. day 4, 5, day 6, day 7. Whoop, sorry, tails. Apparently I forgot to put those in. And I am weaving in my ends as I go. So as I probably do 2 strips and then I put the ends in. So apparently I missed these ones, but so yeah, this strip ended up being a little bit longer. I'm trying to, like, there's 24 days, so I was trying to figure it out. So this strip ended up being a little bit longer because I am putting in the whole 20 grams. So as I said, I'll have to adjust the first 2 strips, but that's okay. So there is the first strip of Advent. And then I have the second one going now. And I'm really loving, I absolutely loved my Lichen and Lace Advent. All the colors every day. It was just so amazing. I absolutely loved it. I will definitely do it again. So this continues on. This would have been the next one. Guys, it's amazing. And then we got this one, and that one worked up like really cool. And then that one. And then I'm gonna just say it, this one's like my absolute favorite, purple. I love it. Oh my gosh. Oh. Love it. Can I have a muscle burr on that color? Because, oh my gosh. I love it. So yeah, that is my Lichen and Lace Advent so far. So I am putting them in. I haven't worked on this, guys, in couple days, so I need to get onto it because it's going to be the most amazing blanket ever. So, and I want to knit up the other colorways too to see what they look like. And let me see, I still have, now I take a couple out at a time, so I about 4 or 5 and roll them up into cakes. So I have them all pictured. Every day I was taking a picture so I can just look on my phone so I know which days. But here's some of the next ones that will be coming up. This one here is really fun. So those are my next ones that I will be working with. And yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. The Jelly Roll blanket is just very relaxing to work on. It's just plain garter stitch. It's really, really fun. And then before, just prior to Advent starting, I had actually casted on another strip, and then Advent started. So I just have it sitting here in the bottom of the bag. This one's really Christmassy. So I have this one going as well. So when I'm done the Advent skeins, I will just pick this strip back up and continue working on it. I'm pretty sure this is a Northern Pearl colorway, I think. Pretty sure of it. So yeah, I have been enjoying that. And then I just got like random minis that I have thrown into the bag. So once the Advent is all finished, then I will just keep adding it into it until the blanket is done. Like, it's not exclusively Advent, it's just memory, like a memory blanket. So that one has been a lot of fun. So Jelly Roll blanket, Kay Jones, a lot of people enjoy it, and I do too. I think it's fun. So there's that one. And then the last project that I have to share with you, things are dropping, is my Yarn Indulgences Advent. So I made a little Christmassy project bag here. to go. So I definitely wanted to do a shawl with Deborah's Advent because, as I said, it has cashmere in it. And I kept going back and forth. I was looking at some of the Advent projects, like shawls, and I decided that I wanted to do, let me look at my notes. I think it's Find Your Fade. Yes, Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. That shawl has been on my list forever, and it's not going to fade. I did not buy a fade Advent, but I was just like, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to just put them in. So I did start it, and I got day 1 in, and I started day 2, and that's as far as I've gotten with it. I am going to keep going, guys. I'm not ripping it out, but I just time, life. So it starts off at the point here, and it's just garter, and then you have these sections of lace, which is pretty simple. And then once you're done with that color, you start fading in the next. So this was day 1 of the Advent. This was day 2. So that's as far as I've gotten. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's probably going to be wild. The Advent, I got the Winter Wonderland Advent. So it's got some different colors in it, but I think it's all going to work together quite well, and I think I'll enjoy it quite well. And I got my little kitty cat on the moon, Progress Keeper. Yeah. So I think it's going to be quite interesting. I keep wondering, like, I have them all numbered as well, so I don't know if I'm going to just keep going by the days, like keep them in order, or do I want to kind of, because now that they're all open, do I want to kind of shift the colors and manipulate the way they go in? I'm not quite sure yet. But I did have 3 more of the skeins caked up and ready to go. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. But they're all beautiful. They're all solids for the most part. And they're all very, very beautiful. So I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. I might manipulate it a little bit. We will see. But I am really enjoying it. And as I said, I have wanted the shawl, like the shape of the shawl, for quite a while. So that is what I've decided to do. And I think it's going to be great. So that one is Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. I get it mixed up because she also has the Free Your Fade, which I have already done, and I always get the two mixed up. So that would be my last project. So that is what I have been working on recently. Just lots of socks. I love my socks. It's simple, it's easy, it's perfect. So that's pretty much it for the knitting content. I did get one thing, just actually this past week. Merritt was lovely enough. I realized I'm putting together a Christmas box for my Nomi, and in Canada, we had a strike with the Postal Service, so we have decided that we are going to send out our Christmas parcels in January. And there was something at Merritt's shop that I really wanted to add into the parcel. So Merritt showed up, and I ended up getting something. And, of course, I had to get something for myself. So I picked out a skein of sock yarn. Surprise, surprise. And I happened to see Merritt had put out a sample knit, and it was a Musselburgh, and she did it in one of her gradients. And oh my god, guys, it's so cool to do a Musselburgh in a gradient because you have one color on one side, and then when you flip it inside out, you have the other color. It is so amazing. So I put the sock yarn back and I had to go over to her gorgeous wall of gradients, and I picked out, with her help, this lovely skein. So this is Merritt's yarn, Gobsmacked, and she has she had 3 different fingering weight bases. I ended up going for her yak base, which is tough yak fingering, 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, 10% nylon. It's 100 grams, 438 yards, and it's battened down the hatches. There we go. And look at that. It is going to be phenomenal. I love it. I really want to cast this on right now. I really want to cast it on. I want to be reckless and have a second muscle burrow going. But we will see what happens. But yeah, that is something that I picked out for myself, and I love it. So I've been a pretty good girl. I do have my Yarnable coming. I did skip a couple months, and I actually have January's coming to me, and I did purchase more yarn from Area 51 Fibers because it's self-striping. Yep. So I'm not really that good, but so yeah, at the start of the year, so the knitting content's all over, so thank you for joining me. I hope you guys have an amazing 2025, and I hope you have all the blessings in the world, and I will see you soon. But if you wish to hear me babble on a little bit, then feel free to stay tuned, I suppose. So yeah, at the start of the year, 2024, I had started to write down, like, my stats, shall we say. So anything that I brought into my stash, I was writing down, like the yardage, anything that I was finishing, however many yards it was, or no, I was going by grams because it was easier. I would just, if I finished a pair of socks, I would put it on my kitchen scale, and I would mark down that I had, say, 70 grams out of my stash. So I was just doing it like that. I did get through till June, I think, and when I started doing my schooling, it just all dropped. I just couldn't. So I'm kind of sad and disappointed in a way, because it would have been really cool to see what I did. It was actually cool to see every month how I was doing. So I kind of want to start doing it again now that we're at the beginning of the year. So we'll see. I have a book all set to go, and we'll see what happens. But all I do know, something that I did check out, I wanted to know how many pairs of socks I knit in 2024. So I looked back. Now, I did a couple pairs of children's socks, so I did include those in it. But from what I can tell is I knit 29 pairs of socks in 2024. And I am actually really excited about that, because for years I had always tried to do the box of socks that Kristen of Woolen Vine, she used to do a knit along. And it was for a box of socks a year. So you would do a pair of socks, one pair of socks a month, and then at the end of the year, you have 12 beautiful pairs of socks. And I can remember trying to do that so many times, and I could never do it. So the fact that I just did 29 pairs this past year made me feel so happy. So am I going to set a goal for how many pairs of socks I want to knit this coming year? No, because as soon as I say that I want to knit 50 pairs of socks, it'll never happen. But I I'm curious to see how many pairs of socks that I might actually accomplish in 2025. I think that would be cool. But so I don't really have knitting goals. Do you guys have knitting goals? What have you decided on? Let me know below. I would love to hear them. I try not to set too many goals because it becomes overwhelming and then it feels like I need to do it. So I just kind of think to myself, well, I love my socks. I love knitting them. It'd be cool to maybe accomplish a pair of socks every week, which would be technically 4 a month, 3-4 a month. That seems possible, but again, I don't want to set nothing in stone. So for knitting goals, it's just my sock knitting. I want to try to still, one of the goals I had last year was knit from stash, and I did really well with that. I did buy yarn, don't get me wrong. I wasn't on a yarn diet. I did buy yarn, but I was doing pretty well with, if I wanted to create a project, I was going to my stash first instead of just going online and ordering yarn. So I did do rather well with knitting from my stash. I am going to be carrying that forward for 2025 as well. So I guess that would be another goal. And if I was to have a third goal for 2025 when it pertains to my knitting, it would definitely be work on whips, because I have a lot of whips. I am ADHD and I cannot work on one thing for very long before I have to switch it up. And then cast on fever hits and then something gets pushed back. So I have couple sweaters, I have a couple shawls on the go that I would really love to pick back up and continue on. So if I was to do that in 2025, that would be quite amazing. And probably another goal would be spinning. I enjoy my spinning. It's just hard to fit it all in when life when life gets in the way. So lately, how my day generally goes is I get a little bit of knitting time, probably about a half an hour of knitting time in the morning when I have my coffee, and then I do my school, and that is for a couple hours, and then usually I'm kind of exhausted. So I either have a nap or I try to push through, and sometimes my knitting, all I want to do, it's like I said, is socks, because it's simple. It's just vanilla knitting and I don't really have to think about it. My brain's already tired, so it's just plain knitting, right? So that's what I've been doing. So to work on a sweater or a shawl, especially a shawl, because my shawls are usually got lace or something in them, it just hasn't been happening, and I need to try to find a happy barrier. I need to somehow get that fitted back in. So it's all adjustment, right? So those are some of my goals that I kind of have set for myself. But one I would really love to do for sure is start marking down my stats of what's coming in and what's going out, because I really like that thought, and it was really fun to kind of look at that and see what was going on. So I would like to do that again. So anyways, I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. It's actually been a pretty long episode, and I have babbled on quite enough. So thank you for watching. I really love you guys. Thank you for supporting me, and I appreciate you all. So as always, description box has all the show notes, and yeah, I will see you guys soon. Can't promise when. I always say in 2 weeks, but I can't promise when. School is starting back up on Monday, so we will see what happens. So until next time, guys, happy knitting, happy crafting, and stay blessed. I love you guys. Bye.